What if I told you that, for the first time in NBA history, a father and son are not just playing the same game, but wearing the same jersey, chasing the same dream, and stepping onto the same court as teammates? Not as mentor and prodigy, not as legend and legacy, but as equals side by side, under the blinding lights of the NBA. Sounds like a Hollywood script, right? Like something too poetic, too perfect to be real. But this isn't a movie. This isn't fiction. This is happening right now. Bronny James, the son of the most iconic player of his generation, didn't just inherit a name. He inherited a spotlight so bright, it could either make him shine or burn. And instead of running from that shadow, he walked directly into it. Instead of living in his father's legacy, he decided to build his own. This isn't just a story about basketball. This is about what it means to carry a legacy and still dare to be original. It's about pressure, expectation, and the courage to say, yes, I'm his son, but watch me. I'm something else too. Stick with us, because what we're about to share isn't just historic. It's personal, it's powerful, and it might just be the most emotional chapter the NBA has ever seen. This is more than a game. This is a son rewriting what it means to follow in greatness, while becoming great on his own. Bronny James isn't just LeBron's son. That label follows him everywhere. In every gym, every headline, every whisper in the stands. But behind that name is a young man navigating a storm few could handle. Before he could even walk, the cameras were already waiting. Before his first dunk, the world was already judging. And long before he ever put on an NBA jersey, the expectations were sky high. Not because of what he'd done, but because of who his father is. But here's the thing. This isn't just another next-generation story. This is his story. In this video, you'll dive deep into Bronny's journey. We'll rewind to his childhood, back to those early layups in empty gyms, back when the ball was bigger than his hands, but the dream was already real. We'll revisit the viral highlights, the college commitment, and the health scare that shook his entire world. We'll explore how every move he makes is dissected online, how every miss becomes a headline, and how every success comes with a side of skepticism. But we'll also show you the other side. The resilience, the growth, the quiet strength of a young man determined not just to meet expectations, but to rise above them. Because when your last name is James, the world demands greatness. But Bronny, he's chasing something deeper. He's not trying to be his father. He's trying to be Bronny, raw, real, and unapologetically himself. This is a story about basketball, yes, but it's also about identity, pressure, and the courage it takes to stand in the shadow of a giant and still shine your own light. Buckle up, because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew about being the son of a legend. Bronny James was born on October 6, 2004, in Akron, Ohio, the same city where LeBron James began his rise from humble beginnings to global icon. But from the very first breath Bronny took, the world was already watching. His birth wasn't just the arrival of a baby, it was headline news. He wasn't born into fame, he inherited it. While most toddlers are learning how to walk in peace, Bronny learned to dribble in front of flashing cameras. While most kids were drawing in coloring books, he was being filmed hitting half-court shots. The world wasn't just curious about him, it was obsessed. From day one, the narrative seemed written. The prince will follow the king. But the truth? It's far more powerful. Because contrary to popular belief, Bronny wasn't forced into basketball. There were no ultimatums, no behind-the-scenes pressure to live up to the name. Bronny chose this path. He picked up the ball not to mimic, but to express, to challenge himself, to feel the rhythm of the court, to speak the language of the game on his own terms. As a child, his highlights went viral before he even got his driver's license. Ankle-breaking crossovers, flashy no-look passes, rim-rattling dunks, and an impressively high basketball IQ that caught the eyes of scouts long before college was even on the horizon. Millions of views, millions of opinions, and always the same haunting question in every comment section. But is he going to be as good as LeBron? Imagine living with that every single day. Every workout, every game, every missed shot. Imagine trying to grow when the world already thinks it knows who you should become. But Bronny kept climbing. He started at Old Trail School in Bath Township, where he first showcased his talent in an organized setting. But things really took off when he transferred to Sierra Canyon, a California powerhouse that's less like a high school and more like an NBA prep academy. At Sierra Canyon, he wasn't just a student. He became a star in a traveling circus of hype, media attention, and packed arenas. Every game was streamed, every shot analyzed, every interview dissected. He suited up alongside other second-generation stars, like Zaire Wade, the son of NBA champion Dwayne Wade. Together, they formed a dream team of basketball royalty, a high school squad that played like pros and traveled like rock stars. But even among that star-studded roster, all eyes were on Bronny, not because he was the best on the court, but because he was the most watched, the most judged. And yet, he never crumbled. He didn't ask for special treatment. He didn't run from the spotlight. He did what few in his position could ever do. He stayed grounded, because deep down, Bronny wasn't just trying to score points. He was building an identity, one that said, "I'm not just the son of LeBron. I'm Bronny, and I've got something to prove." And that's what makes this journey so powerful. Because this isn't just about basketball. It's about a young man growing up under a microscope, trying to find out who he truly is, while the entire world is already telling him who he should be. In 2023, the story of Bronny James took a dramatic turn. After years of high school hype and worldwide speculation, Bronny made it official. He committed to play college basketball at the University of Southern California, USC, a prestigious program located in the heart of Los Angeles, just minutes from where his father dominates the NBA hardwood. The pressure? Unimaginable. Media frenzy, national coverage, endorsements, cameras at every practice. He wasn't just a freshman. He was the freshman. Bronny wasn't just stepping into college basketball. He was stepping into the weight of two legacies, his own, and the one the world expected him to carry. But then, the unthinkable happened. It was a routine summer practice in July 2023. Just another day of drills, sweat, and building chemistry with his new teammates. Until suddenly, everything stopped. Bronny collapsed. Cardiac arrest. A young, healthy 18-year-old athlete, fighting for his life on the court. The news spread like wildfire. Bronny James suffers cardiac arrest during practice. LeBron's son hospitalized in critical condition. Basketball world in shock. And for a brief moment, the conversation stopped being about basketball. It wasn't about dunks, stats, or draft potential. It was about survival. Was he going to make it? Would he ever walk again, let alone play? The world, for once, didn't care if he was better than his dad. They just wanted him to be okay. And then a miracle. He recovered. Slowly. Quietly. With grit that can't be taught. Bronny didn't just bounce back. He fought his way back. In December, just 5 months after the scare that nearly ended everything, Bronny returned to the court in a USC jersey. The crowd erupted. Not because of a highlight dunk. Not because of a buzzer beater, but because they were witnessing something far more meaningful. A comeback, a resurrection, a reminder of how fragile life can be, and how powerful the human spirit truly is. His stats that season? Modest. 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists per game. To critics, it was underwhelming. But to those who understood the context, it was historic. Because those numbers weren't just stats. They were proof that Bronny had already won a bigger game. The game for his life. But then, when people thought the story had peaked, came the twist. In April 2024, against all odds, Bronny James declared for the NBA draft. And once again, the internet exploded. He's not ready. This is just because of LeBron. He's a second-round talent at best. The noise was deafening. But Bronny didn't flinch. Because this wasn't about silencing the critics. This was about chasing a dream. And then, the moment that turned a family's dream into NBA history. The Los Angeles Lakers made the call. They didn't just draft a player. They drafted a story. One 20 years in the making. One that transcended analytics, mock drafts, and talking heads on TV. In October 2024, the impossible happened. LeBron James and Bronny James shared the court. Father and son, side by side, wearing the same colors, passing each other the ball, living out a dream that had once seemed like a fairy tale. The cameras couldn't get enough. Social media broke, and the world paused to witness something we may never see again. Not just a game, not just a debut, but a moment in sports history that echoed across generations. Let's be real. Being the son of LeBron James doesn't make things easier. If anything, it makes the road way tougher. From the moment Bronny James touched a basketball, the world had already decided what he needed to become. Every missed shot? Criticized. Every turnover? Turned into a meme. Every step he took? Compared to one of the greatest players to ever live. He's not just a young player. He's the benchmark for expectations. He's only in the NBA because of his last name. He'll never be LeBron. He's overrated. But here's the flip side. There are also voices, credible ones, who see real potential. Coaches, scouts, analysts who say Bronny's game isn't about flash or hype. It's about fundamentals. Defense, basketball IQ, poise under pressure. Things that don't always show up on TikTok highlights. Yes, his college stats weren't eye-popping. Yes, his draft pick raised eyebrows. But Bronny wasn't drafted to be the next LeBron. He was drafted because the Lakers saw something. A player who's coachable, intelligent, unselfish, and built for long-term growth. Now, let's talk legacy versus marketing. There's no denying that having LeBron and Bronny on the same roster is a marketer's dream. Jersey sales, ticket spikes, broadcast ratings through the roof. The first ever father-son duo on the court in NBA history? That's once-in-a-generation storytelling. But is that the only reason Bronny made it? That's the debate. Some fans say it's all about the brand. Others say, hold on, give the kid time. He's got skills. He just needs the right environment. And what does LeBron say? He's been clear for years. I'm not pushing Bronny into anything. I want him to be happy and healthy. If he wants to play, great. If he doesn't, I'm still proud. But let's not pretend this wasn't a dream for him. LeBron talked about this for years. He planned his career around it. He stayed in shape. He extended contracts. He waited. And now it's real. Father and son. Lakers jerseys. Same court. History made. Still, a tough question lingers in the background. Is Bronny carving out his own path? Or still walking in his father's shadow? Some say he needs to be traded. Find his own team. Build his own story. Because to truly become Bronny, he has to stop being LeBron's son. Others argue the opposite. Who better to guide you through the pressure than your own father? Who's lived it, survived it, and dominated through it? Either way, one thing is clear. Bronny isn't just fighting to earn minutes. He's fighting for something deeper. His identity. Bronny James's influence stretches far beyond the hardwood. He's not just a basketball player. He's a symbol of a new era, an era shaped by social media, instant fame, and a digital culture that never sleeps. Bronny grew up in the spotlight, but also inside the screen, where followers, likes, and viral clips are currency. He commands millions of followers across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, making him one of the most recognized young athletes in the world even before his full NBA debut. His endorsements? Not just any brands. He's backed by giants like Nike and Beats by Dre, aligning him with the biggest names in sports and lifestyle. And here's a twist. Bronny's presence isn't confined to basketball arenas. He's a member of FaZe Clan, one of the world's most powerful esports organizations, blending traditional sports with the booming gaming industry. This intersection makes Bronny a global brand, a modern icon who embodies not only athletic potential, but also the merging of sports, entertainment, and technology. But with this level of fame comes a heavy price. Unlike most NBA rookies, Bronny never experienced the luxury of anonymity. There's no quiet learning the ropes phase when millions are watching your every move, both on and off the court. The media scrutinizes him relentlessly. Every missed shot, every social media post, every personal decision becomes headline news. Fans debate him online. Critics dissect his every performance, and conspiracy theories swirl around his draft position and abilities. To many, he's not just Bronny. He's the king's son, a title that carries weight, and sometimes a burden heavier than any basketball. This spotlight creates a paradox. Bronny must forge his own identity while carrying the legacy of one of the greatest players in history. He has to be himself, but the world often sees him only as an extension of LeBron. That's a tough line to walk. On one hand, the platform he's been given can open doors impossible for most athletes his age. On the other, it can be a cage, a constant reminder of expectations and comparisons. The question is, can Bronny turn this global brand into a story of authentic success? Can he redefine what it means to be a young athlete in the digital age, balancing pressure, fame, and the dream of basketball greatness? So far, his journey suggests the answer might just be yes. Now, take a moment and put yourself in Bronny James's shoes. Imagine being just 20 years old and waking up every day with the entire world watching your every move. The pressure isn't just about playing basketball. It's about living up to the towering legacy of one of the greatest athletes in history, your father, LeBron James. Could you handle that kind of pressure, knowing that your successes might be overshadowed, not celebrated fully because of your last name? Feeling like no matter how hard you try, your achievements are constantly compared to an almost impossible standard? And worse, every mistake, every slip-up, gets amplified beyond reason, replayed and analyzed by millions. Bronny faces this reality every single day. Yet, despite the weight of these expectations, he doesn't back down. He moves forward with unwavering focus, quiet humility, and an impressive level of resilience. He is choosing to forge his own path, to step into his own light, even when that light exists within the long shadow cast by a legend. His journey challenges us all to think deeply about our own lives. How often do we feel pressured to follow a path that someone else laid out for us? How many times do we suppress our own dreams because they don't fit the expectations others have for us? Whether family, friends, or society, Bronny's story reminds us that honoring the past, respecting where we come from, doesn't mean we have to surrender our own future. In fact, it teaches us the opposite. We can carry the legacy of those who came before while boldly creating something new, something uniquely ours. It takes courage to do that, to rise up under the weight of comparison, doubt, and expectation, and still say, "This is who I am." So as you watch Bronny's journey unfold, ask yourself, what legacy do you want to build? What expectations might be holding you back? And how can you, like Bronny, Step out of the shadows and into your own greatness. Because, in the end, greatness isn't just about trophies or fame. It's about authenticity, perseverance, and the courage to live your truth, no matter the odds. For Bronny James to truly thrive, not just survive under the immense spotlight, something fundamental needs to change. The NBA, the media, and the fans all have a crucial role in allowing him to grow naturally, just like any other young athlete finding their way in professional basketball. This means first and foremost respecting his pace. Bronny isn't a finished product, nor should he be expected to be. He is still learning, adapting, and discovering what kind of player and person he wants to be. That journey requires patience. It requires stepping back from instant judgment and recognizing every small victory along the way. Every point scored, every defensive stop, every moment of growth should be celebrated as part of his unique path. Let's stop trying to fit him into a mold or expecting him to be the next MVP or all-star right out of the gate. Maybe Bronny will never reach those heights, and that's perfectly okay. What truly matters is that he's given the freedom and support to become the best version of himself, not a carbon copy or a shadow of his legendary father. For the Los Angeles Lakers, that means providing strategic, patient support. They need to manage his minutes on the court wisely, making sure he gets enough playing time to develop confidence and experience, but without being overwhelmed. Coaching guidance must be tailored to his strengths and growth areas, helping him refine the skills he already shows promise in, like his basketball IQ, his defensive intensity, and his work ethic. Equally important is the psychological backing, the mental health support and encouragement that will help him navigate the pressures, doubts, and expectations that come with being a James. The foundation is undeniably there. Bronny's high basketball IQ shows he understands the game on a level many rookies don't. His commitment to hard work reveals a maturity beyond his years, and his solid defense is a clear sign that he brings value beyond scoring, a trait that could make him indispensable on any team. Now it's about refinement, honing those raw talents with care, patience, and understanding. If the NBA ecosystem, from coaches to commentators, fans to media outlets, can embrace this mindset, Bronny's potential can flourish. Not just as LeBron's son, but as Bronny James, an athlete, a role model, and a symbol of perseverance on his own terms. Bronny James is far more than just a famous last name or the son of an NBA legend. He is a young athlete carving out his own unique story, one that's woven with heart, fierce challenges, remarkable resilience, and a deep, undeniable love for the game of basketball. Watching father and son share the court, both wearing the iconic Lakers jersey, is undeniably emotional. A moment that will be remembered in NBA history forever. But what resonates even more deeply is witnessing Bronny begin to soar on his own terms, stepping out of the shadow of his father and into the spotlight as his own person. This isn't just a chapter about family legacy or history repeating itself. It's about evolution, about how greatness isn't a fixed destination, but a journey that passes from one generation to the next, growing, adapting, and transforming along the way. LeBron James's legacy isn't ending with Bronny's arrival. It's evolving into something new, shaped by both father and son, a living testament to perseverance, passion, and identity. Bronny's story challenges us all to rethink what it means to live up to expectations. It's a reminder that true success isn't measured only by trophies or stats, but by the courage to pursue your own path, despite the weight of history and the gaze of the world. And as Bronny continues to write his own chapter, he inspires us to embrace our own journeys, with authenticity, resilience, and heart. So whether you're a basketball fan, a dreamer, or someone facing their own mountains, Bronny's journey is a powerful lesson. Legacies are not just inherited, they're created, one step at a time, by those brave enough to be themselves. Now, I really want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Bronny James has what it takes to become a true NBA star and carve out his own legacy? Or do you think the pressure is too much, and maybe he needs more time away from the spotlight to grow at his own pace? This is a conversation that goes beyond basketball. It's about passion, perseverance, and finding your own path. So don't hold back. Drop your opinions and predictions in the comments below. Let's get a real discussion going, because your voice matters and your perspective can inspire others. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Bronny's journey and want more stories that reveal the heart and future of the game we all love, smash that like button, share this video with your basketball crew, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates and exclusive insights. We've got a lot more content coming your way. From rising stars to game-changing moments, the past, present, and future of basketball. And you won't want to miss a single moment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep dreaming big and stay passionate.